Thank you all for joining us tonight. I know evenings are hard to come by, so we appreciate you guys taking the time to learn a little bit more about the upcoming tennis season. My name is Jordan Fickey. I'm the Coach Development Manager here at Special Olympics Colorado. We are also joined by all four of our regional managers, Adrian, Chop. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody now. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or utilize the chat feature as well. As I was saying, we have all four regional managers here, Adrian, Julie, Jeff, and Michelle, along with our coordinators, Kyle from the Southeast, Ashton from the Northeast, Corey Chandler is also on the call from the Denver region, and Susan Fogg, who is our Director of Competition, and Linda Lappy, who is our Senior Vice President of Competitions. We're going to go ahead and get started here. I mentioned a little bit earlier, if you guys are one of the phone numbers that are on, that is great. If you wouldn't mind either letting us know who you are via audio or utilizing the chat feature. You can also email your regional managers and let us know that you guys attended the call. That way we can give you all credit for participating. We appreciate you guys taking the time out. As I mentioned, the purpose of this call is to ensure that everyone gets the same information as we head into our regional events and of course onto state. We want to be consistent with what we give you guys information wise and make sure that you guys all have a great season for your athletes. So we are going to jump right in. As a reminder, we're hosting our Coaches Summit, which is going to be held on Saturday, July 20th. That is held at the Radisson Denver Aurora off of Parker and 225. We're going to be certifying. Tennis is going to be one of these sports that we'll offer certifications in. Additionally, we'll offer a basketball certification, track and field, softball, and flag football. We'll also be focusing on non-sports specific training as well, having an entire session on fitness, sports psychology, motivating your athletes, providing that leadership, and really working on team culture. Fundraising and budgeting, we'll be giving you guys some ideas and have a concurrent session with all of the regional managers actually, and they will be kind of going in depth on how benefits or how budgets can best benefit your team. And we'll also be providing a training on our unified sports, specifically working with unified partners. So be sure to check that out. If you have not RSVP'd, you can RSVP by going to the coaches page, scrolling down to coaches resources, coming here to upcoming training sessions. And then you'll see an update here, an additional RSVP form when you click right there. Or you can always email me with questions. My email is all over the website. I'll jump right in. On that note, on the Friday before the 20th, July 19th, we'll be having a networking mixer for the coaches at the Radisson as well. They have a Topgolf suite, so we'll be providing some fun Topgolf games. It'll be a great opportunity to network and meet other coaches. We're going to jump right into some dates here. The Denver Regional Summer Classic is going to be held on Saturday, July 27th at Colorado Athletic Club. The Southeast participants will come to the Denver Regional Tournament, and entries are due to Adrian or Corey by Friday, July 12th. The Northeast Regional Summer Classic will be held on Friday, July 26th at Roland Moore Park in Fort Collins. Entries are due to CHOP by Friday, July 12th. That regional will only offer skills. So if they have time for exhibition plays and some exhibition play, they certainly will do that. But the Northeast Regional Tournament will focus on skills competitions only. It's really going to be focusing on the youth growth in that community, so it won't really be a similar tournament to some of our larger competitions. The check-in process and flow of competitions at the games, if you guys have not competed with us before, make sure to note ahead of time that athletes and partners will report to the check-in desk, and they'll actually go with the official to the court. So the official will take the balls and all of the materials and go to the court with the athletes. So athletes do not check in at the court that they're assigned. They check in at the check-in desk first, and then go to the court after that. Similarly, in that same forum, we'll have our state competitions on Saturday, August 24th at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Please communicate these dates with your caregivers, parents, and athletes, and make sure that they can attend. Ensuring that they have the dates ahead of time will make sure that you guys won't run into any snags later. As a reminder, we always, in order to participate in state, you have to attend a regional competition. You don't have to place at the regional competition, you just have to attend and participate. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Adrian. Adrian, you are good to go. I have unmuted you.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All right, so if you want, let's walk them through how to get to our entry forms.
Perfect.
So click on that Coaching Resources tab, scroll down, and then you'll go to Coach Handbook by Sport. Click on that, and then this is where you're able to find all information regarding each one of our sports that we offer. You could also find these links by going to your specific region page. Under the information for each one of your competitions, you'll be able to find the links that will take you directly over to these as well. All right, so let's go to the coach roster form first. Coach roster form is going to be self-explanatory, but I'll walk you through it. So region information over at the top. You're going to put in which region you're in, Denver, Northeast, Southeast, or West. Then sport will be tennis. Competition will be which competition you plan on attending. So if you're a Northeast team attending the Denver Regional, even though you're from the Northeast, you'll in the competition you put Denver Regional. Same thing for anybody from Southeast traveling up to the Denver region or vice versa. Team name, it'll be whatever team name you guys choose to go with this year. Head coach name will be who our point of contact will be for the event on the day of the event. So many of you guys will have a program coordinator who helps out with the administrative portion and doing all the paperwork for the team. We need to know who's going to be the primary point of contact for the team on the day of as the head coach. So list that person's name there. The day of event phone number will be listed below. And then in the additional email tab, that's where you can list whoever your program coordinator would be or anybody else who might be supporting the head coach and as an assistant coach on the day of. All right, so then we'll want the head coach's email as well. All right, so then below in the field under last name, first name, and date of birth, this is where you're going to list all your assistant coaches who are also supporting the team. Anybody who is going to, you don't need to list your unified partners here. Those unified partners will be listed on your roster. These are just your assistant coaches who are helping facilitate on the day of competition. So last name, first name, date of birth is new to this form. This is important for us to capture. We need the date of birth in order to eliminate any duplicates that we might have or to further differentiate between multiple entries in our database. That way we can get you the correct information on if they have attained their Class A and completed all the missing paperwork that is required of them. So please, it's important. If you could do your best, please try to get your date of birth for each one of your assistant coaches as well as your head coach. And then gender. All right, so we'll move on. So we'll go to the tennis entry form quickly. I want to just show you guys what the entry form looks like, and then I'll go over to the sample form and then walk you through how to fill it out. But you got your region information, day of contact number, team name, coach's name, and coach's email. That should all reflect the same as your head coach listed on your coach entry form. Jordan, why don't we go back and let's show them the sample. So the sample is a good tool for you guys to kind of replicate what your form will look like. So same thing, you got your region information, day of contact number, your team name, your program name, who your head coach is, and your coach's email. Then underneath that, you got, do you plan on attending state competition? If you're unsure, still click yes. It's easier for us to remove you than it is to add you after the fact. So please mark that off if you're able to. All right. Then you have your different level tabs for each one of your athletes who are going to be competing. So you have athlete name, their gender, their date of birth. I would highly encourage you at your first practice to try to capture all the date of births for each one of your athletes and partners. This will help in facilitating the process with paperwork as it comes up to the competition, and we're able to get you the accurate information on who's gotten us their medicals and who's gotten their Class A's. The date of birth is going to be key in being able to get accurate information on each one of your athletes. All right, then you got the different levels that we'll be offering this year. So we have level 1 skills, level 2 red foam ball on a 42-foot court, level 3 orange ball on a 60-foot court. New and coming back this year is the level 4 green ball, the green dot, and that's going to be played on the full court. And then level 5 yellow ball full court as well. So I'll check off which different events your athletes are going to be participating in. If they're going to be just all level 2 for the singles and doubles, you could just click level 2. If they're going to be in multiple divisions, a level 2 for singles, maybe level 3 for doubles, you can click on both of those and then provide their scores in the qualification scores field. So you'll have singles and doubles. Each athlete's able to compete in both events. We'll go into how to determine your scores after this, but you will enter the scores in singles and then what their double score is. And then below lists who their unified partner is. So in this example, it's Brad Davis. And we don't have it listed here on the sample form, but if you're also able to include the birth date for your unified partner adjacent to that, that would really be helpful as well. All right, so just like Jordan's doing right there. All right, Jordan, why don't we take them back? And then go to the tennis rating sheet. So I'm not going to review this all word by word, but this is the rating sheet that you can use to gather the scores for each one of your players. So as you go through your practices, you'll work on each of these different disciplines, their forehand, their backhand, their movement, first, second, and return serves and volleys. These will all be given a different score, and then from there you're able to provide an average that you will then use on the team roster sheet so that we know how to division your athletes appropriately. So Jordan, if you scroll down. So then at the bottom, this is your rule of thumb. So if your athletes roll in a 1 to 1.9, they're going to be in individual skills. 2 to 2.9, they're going to be in the red foam ball. 3 to 3.9, orange ball. 4 to 4.9, a green ball, and then 5 to 8 will be yellow ball. And you could work through this form with each one of your athletes to get them divisioned appropriately. And with that, I will hand it off to Chop to carry on with principles of meaningful involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, thanks, Adrian. So the principles of meaningful involvement is pretty much the essence of our unified sports program and just Special Olympics in general. It's just a quick one-pager that Jordan pulled up. It's underneath every section on the Coach's Handbook website. So a majority of you hopefully will have athletes that are participating in both singles and doubles competition, and that doubles competition may include a unified partner. So this meaningful involvement piece just pretty much touches on 3 aspects of what we would like to see out of the competition. And you can see it's highlighted here where it says every teammate demonstrates sufficient sport-specific skills and game understanding, has an opportunity to play without a heightened risk of injury. And most importantly, I think in our eyes, is that everyone that participates has a valued role on the team, and really lets them showcase his or her talents, whether you're an athlete or a partner. So if you scroll a little bit lower, there's some bullet points on what meaningful involvement really means, and how you can achieve it and when maybe it's not achieved. It's way more prolific in team sports, where partners can kind of dominate a competition on a field or a court. Tennis is a little different. Just a couple things to touch on is one of the things we'd really like to do is have similarly skilled athletes together. So we realize that's not always the case, but if you have like a collegiate club tennis player playing with a really low ranked athlete, that might not be the best fit for both people. So if possible, you want to kind of have athletes with the same skill sets together when it comes to athletes and partners. You want them to train together consistently. If an athlete is training with a unified partner for 7 or 8 weeks before a competition and that person can't show up, it's really difficult to just throw someone in there, because it kind of throws off the whole point of our training method and what we go through. So with that, when it comes to competitive play as well, if you do have an incident like that where you do have, let's say, like that very, very high level partner and they're playing to that skill level on the court with maybe 2 lower level athletes, and then that other partner is not really doing well, that would be viewed more as partner domination, which we really want to try to avoid. Again, meaningful involvement means that every single person participating in the competition has a meaningful role. And if one person is really taking over the game and doing most of the work or a majority of the work, then it's all subjective on who's watching and who's officiating, and our judges will be informed of stuff like this. But that's really what the principles are there for and what they stand out for. So I encourage you all, especially if you're going to have doubles teams with unified partners, to really just go over this sheet, at least at the beginning of the season, your first or second practice, and make those coachable, teachable moments if you see something like that, to where a partner may be dominating more than they should and the athlete's not involved as much. Because that's really why we're here, is for the athlete when it comes down to it. But we also want to make sure the partner feels like part of the team and they're actually competing and doing something, and not just there to not help and mentor and teach. So does anyone have any questions on meaningful involvement? Awesome. Well, yeah, then we'll jump into the skills portion. Adrian kind of
hang on a minute. Yeah, actually, I do have a question there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Allison. I am Mikhail. I am going to be Max's unified partner again. Okay. I played tennis in college. So obviously I am not going to play anywhere near like that when I play with Max. Mm-hmm. But it is meaningful for me and for him for us to play together and me to do that. And I am okay with just keeping things going and having everybody involved. So in a situation like that, when he doesn't even really have a partner that he can play with.
Allison, I'll stop you there. You're completely fine. I should have said this one statement that I forgot to say, but we expect the partner to play to the level of the athlete.
Okay.
So I should have mentioned that first and foremost, so I apologize. Okay. And that comes to any sport we do. Like, we realize there's going to be spots where you're not going to have similar level athletes and partners, or we just want people to understand that, like you're saying, you play college tennis. If you're going out there and winning like 6 sets in a row, that's domination. We're not gonna. We don't want that, and that's
last year we got bronze.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So just again, use your best judgment.
Okay.
Our staff, the judges, people will be there watching, and it's not like something that's like, you cheated, you did this, you guys are disqualified. We'll communicate with teams if we see something that we think is a little fishy, or that we really think a partner needs to kind of take a step back. We will be there to handle all that. But
okay,
plan to play. Yeah.
Understand that being the unified partner is actually really hard in that situation. I mean, it's tough. So, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, and I think most people did great with that last year. I just wanted to make sure, because it sounded like we've got several parents that want to play with their kids.
No, 100%. We understand that. Just make sure you're playing to the level of competition of not just your athlete partner, but the other team as well. So you should be divisioned correctly, so that shouldn't be an issue. But just always keep that in the back of your mind, like morally, ethically, we're balancing that line of like how much should we do versus how much we shouldn't. And it is very difficult That's why training together for 8 weeks and going to all the practices together is so crucial when it comes to the regional and state competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Good question.
Great.
Anyone else? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, that's a different question. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so can we go to the skills portion now, Jordan? If you go to the left a little bit. So I'm going to touch on the skills aspect, mainly because, as Jordan mentioned, we're really trying to focus on our transition and youth programs up in the Northeast. So that's why that Friday event will be just youth focused and skills focused. So what she just clicked on is our individual score sheet. And you're going to have to go back and forth here. So there's 2 spots I want you to look at. This is what you coaches can utilize for your skills athletes. If you have athletes that aren't going to compete in the full court or the short court competition. So as you can see, there's 7 skills listed here and a score. You don't need to turn this in. This is just a piece of paper that you can use to record all this stuff to kind of help you. And when you enter this into the actual entry form, when you send it into myself or Adrian or Corey for the Denver event, that's how we'll division our skills athletes. So again, this is super self-explanatory, but Jordan, if you go back 1 page, and then scroll down to that super long, the skills instructions in the score sheet, this will actually give you the 3 pages of what the athletes are supposed to do and how to score them. So both of those documents serve together. You can download these as a PDF and save them on your iPhone in your notes section, or you can print these off and have them with you at practice. But you really want to utilize these 2 pieces of information for the skills athletes, whether you just have 1 skills athlete or if you're a team. For instance, if we start the Greedy program like we hope so, it's going to be a team of skills athletes. So this is how you will measure practice, work on drills, all those types of things. So it's pretty self-explanatory, very, very forward. And then if you want to click back one more time, Jordan.
Yeah.
You will actually use the same entry form as the traditional competition, so the 2019 tennis entry form. So this is the form you'll still turn in even if they're a skills athlete. And if you scroll down, you can see where it says level 1 skills. So you'll still throw that up there. So unlike a lot of our other sports, for those of you that coach more than just tennis is a little different in the sense of, like, in every other sport, our level 1 is technically our highest division. Everything's kind of flip-flopped here, so I don't want you guys to get confused for those of you. But we also typically have a separate skills entry form versus the traditional competition entry form. It's all in the same one for this. So, and then you guys can put your total points there once you add everything up from those 2 previous documents I just showed you. So along with that, if you want to go back one more time, Jordan.
Oh, no, you're good.
The rules and the interpretations, again, are at the bottom of that section. The interpretations are pretty much a shortened version of the SOI rules that Special Olympics International pushes down from the top. And any questions you have can be answered here, but it's all pretty straightforward, basic stuff. So does anyone have any questions on the skills aspect of the competition? Okay, I think that is it for me, guys. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I think Susan's up next.
That's right. Thanks so much, Jeff.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and just touch base and give a couple of reminders on the competition play. So tennis is a pretty unique sport where we have a good progression of levels. Starting at skills, we'll be using the red foam balls, which sets our athletes up for success. And then we move up to short court, which is our level 2. That is the red foam ball in the service box. Athletes that are in skills can also be in short court. So keep that in mind. If you have athletes that are participating in skills, they can also be in short court. Our level 3 is it's the mid court. I would say it's a line halfway between the service box and the end line. It's a 60-foot line. That is our level 3. This year we'll be adding level 4, which is a full court with a green dot ball. It's a great progression for our level 3 guys to really get up to that level 5. The balls bounce a little bit easier and they're a little bit easier to track down. And then level 5 is the traditional tennis with the yellow ball in the traditional court. So that we did add that level 4. So I encourage any of you guys that had athletes in level 3 to take a look at that. If you need some green balls, reach out to your regional manager. We do have some of those. We do also get a grant from the USTA to be able to provide equipment for some of you guys. So if you are looking for a certain type of tennis ball, please reach out and let us know so that we can work with the USTA to get you that ball. One other change that we're going to be making for regionals and state will be our unified doubles and our all athlete doubles, if we have any of those. I think we have a couple teams of that. Those matches will be 1 set to 7. Okay, so typically in our singles, and we'll continue to keep that in our singles, we'll do the best 2 out of 3 short sets. However, with unified doubles, we did some evaluating just with kind of the long day it was and how hot it can get in the summertime. We will be doing for doubles 1 long set to 7. Any questions on any of those items?
Yeah, it's Allison again. Why are we not doing the same on both? To me, from an intellectual standpoint for our athletes, that's going to get confusing. Just out of curiosity.
We were actually it's a great question, and we did talk about that a little bit, but we were kind of back and forth on figuring out which way was going to be the best way at this point. So for this season, we're going to try to keep singles the same, and then we're going to try to do doubles in the longer set. We did have some concern that if they're playing just 2 sets, it might not be quite enough tennis for some of our athletes. That was brought to the attention by the group, by our tennis committee as well.
Okay.
But again, it's something we're going to evaluate this year, and we love your feedback on as we move into next season as well.
My concern is if it's on one day as it is anyway, that's a lot of tennis if they're playing singles and doubles all on one day. And just that, especially for the ones in the divisions that aren't to level 5 yet, I know scoring is a big problem with trying to teach them that. And to me, that just is going to get confusing for them. But like you said, we can see how it goes, but that would be my biggest concern.
Okay. I think that's a valid concern, Allison, and we'll kind of circle back after next season. We might circle back with some of you guys throughout the season as well to see how that's going and go from there as well.
Susan, are you talking 1 set to 7 or best of 7?
1 set to 7.
Okay.
Hello, Susan.
Yes?
It's Shelley. A question for you again. Can you repeat singles is going to be what again?
Singles is going to be the same as it was last year. So
Which
it's the 2 short sets. Best 2 out of 3 short sets to 4.
Okay.
And then the doubles will be 1 set to 7.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks.
We have a question in the chat about skills players. Can they play short court singles and doubles or just doubles?
They can pick 2 events. So if they're in skills, they can either pick singles or doubles of the short court.
That's great. Thank you so much. Any other questions about some of those topics on the rules or a different topic on a rule?
Yeah, I guess one more question on the doubles. When it's 1st to 7, is it winning by 2? So or is it if it's 6-all, whoever wins the next game, if they're not going to play a tiebreaker? How?
Nope, it'll just be 1st to 7.
Okay.
That doesn't seem shorter.
Yeah.
Not by much. Some of the guys that were at that meeting at the USTA, I thought we were talking. I know it's short, but the first one to win the majority of 7.
We can go ahead and
anybody?
circle back on that. Then I must have misunderstood. I thought we were playing. I had in my notes that we were going to do 1 set to 7, but we can circle back and we'll reach out to you guys just to go ahead and clarify that.
It'd be interesting to know what the other coaches think. Anybody?
I agree, but I think if you're only going to play one short set, the majority of 7, you could get to 4 games and be done. So
Yeah.
that's really shortening it then too.
And there's 2, but they'd have 2 matches at the minimum. It's just a long day. I think the intent was to shorten it when, it's really hard in the afternoon. If people are matched well, it could be 7 games and not winning by 2. And if someone's dominant in their group, then they're gonna play a total of 8 games for the first match and for the second. So could someone like Shelley or Greg, give your opinion on it?
Yeah, I agree. Doing it 2 different ways is confusing. I think we should keep it either or. I do believe it's going to be a very long day. Even no matter how we do it, it's going to be a long day because it's just one day this year. I was pulling for 2 days, but it's just one day. So it will be a long day.
Those are all great points, and we definitely took some of them into consideration as we went through those discussions. As Susan mentioned, this is an ongoing discussion, and so we definitely appreciate the feedback, and we'll see where the chips fall at the end of the season.
To the person's point earlier, I think that if you're doing like the best of 7 instead of 2-7, that's more like one short set. That might be closer to keeping the scoring kind of the same for singles and doubles, is just a thought. So I think whatever, though, I agree that trying to make it, if it's 1 set to 7, that's not that much shorter overall. So, and it's going to get hot.
So this is Linda, you guys. That's great feedback. I think maybe we can hear, Susan maybe can reach out tomorrow and we can make sure that we're understanding exactly what your concerns are and then make a decision so you guys know what to be practicing. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
Okay, we'll reach out tomorrow with an exact answer on what to expect. Thanks for your feedback.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to go ahead and shoot it over to Michelle to go over some paperwork.
Can you hear me, Jordan?
Hey, yep, we got you, Michelle.
Okay, perfect. So first and foremost, all the coaches should have received an email from the regional manager stating which athletes, coaches, or partners might be missing some medical applications or Class A's, as well as those who are still current. So if you have not yet received one of those, make sure you email your regional manager as soon as possible so you guys can get that taken care of. We're going to start with Class A's. If you hover over Get Involved, you can click on Coach. It should bring up a couple different options here for you. You're going to click on the Renew Coach Registration. Class A is underneath it. This is where coaches and partners can renew their Class A application, or if they're new, they can also go through it this way. Just make sure that you guys are doing it online. We no longer take any paper copies. I know those were floating around for a couple of years, but we do not accept those anymore. Also know there is a $17 background check fee if you are 18 and older. And then, of course, that is good for 3 years. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at Get Involved again, and we're going to click Athlete this time around. We have an online athlete medical application form now, and we have also changed the medical application paper form. If you have some coaches that are in some rural areas or just not really, I'm sorry, not coaches, families, or just not really computer oriented, we can certainly get those to you. So just make sure you guys throw out any other copies of the medical application up until last season when we made that change. If you are going to be doing it online, make sure you download the physical examination form first. If you click on that physical examination form, it will bring that up. Have the families double check that the doctor goes through all of this with them and signs and dates this exam, as that is one of the most important parts. They can then upload this document to the online athlete participation medical application. So if you click on that link, it will take you to it, and it'll bring up all the different questions that you all are familiar with if you've gone through it, just in an online form. So if your families have your email, this will actually send them a copy as well as you. So make sure that they have all that information. And I will also get a copy if I'm your regional manager, but if I'm not, your other regional managers will. And it kind of cuts out that middleman. So we're working on improving that process. And that is it for me.
That's great. Thank you so much, Michelle. Susan, do you want to end by giving us some tidbits about state? You guys will notice that under the coach resource page, when you guys go to Sport by Handbook, there's also a state cheat sheet, kind of fact sheet there, which I will show you here in a second where to find that. Susan, I am gonna, there you go. Susan,
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
Yes, I just want to touch on the state tennis tournament. So it will be on Saturday, August 24th, and we will be at the Air Force Academy. So last year we were able to use their volunteers and their team, which was awesome. This year they really pushed to host us, and so we'll be moving our entire Summer Classic over there. And as many of you probably heard at state, the courts there are very, they're exceptional. There's plenty of shade, so it should be a great experience for the athletes, and the team will thankfully be involved with us again as volunteers. We will also have more information on healthy athletes. We'll have healthy athlete screenings there, so we'll have more information on that, as well as an Olympic town happening during that time as well. And we'll be sharing some lodging information as we get a little bit closer for those of you who are interested in spending the night.
That's great. Thank you so much, Susan. At this time, does anybody have any region-specific questions or general questions that we can help answer? I see one coming in on the chat from Nicole and Samantha. It says, what does every athlete need to give us before they can play at their first practice? Nicole and Samantha, if you guys want to check with your regional manager, who is Adrian, give us your team roster, and we can ensure that all of those athletes have completed their athlete medical, which is what Michelle was referencing back there. It's basically an application accompanied by a clearance form from their primary care physician, and gives them clearance to participate in Special Olympics. And that's the only thing they need. So yeah, after you get clearance from your regional manager, they are good to go. Any other questions, either general or region specific? Great. Always feel free to reach out to us, guys. We are here to help you. We are excited for tennis season, and really looking forward to seeing you guys at competitions.
I do have a question real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
What time do the competitions start? 8, 9? What are we looking at for times?
Regionals or?
Both. Regional on 7/27, right?
Yes.
What time does that start?
Adrian, do you have that time? I know that information will definitely be released as we get closer to that date. So you'll be receiving emails about that. But Adrian or
I'm sorry, I was muted. But 8 a.m. we'll be starting right at 8 a.m. with our skills and our singles.
That's great.
Okay, we were told that if there's unified partners are involved, to not make it such a long day for them, they come at a specific time. Is there, so we're starting with skills and singles. So what about unified doubles?
That will depend on how many entries we get, and I won't know until closer to competition, but I'm assuming we'll probably start closer till 11 o'clock. I can give that information at least a week out.
Yeah, that would be great, because I need to know what to tell them so they're not there all day.
Absolutely. No problem.
All right, thanks.
Great questions. Any others?
Hey, Jordan, there's a question on the chat about asking what every athlete needs to give coaches at the first practice. Can you just show the new coaches where they can grab the medical form real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So let's go back. So if you go to our just general Special Olympics co.org, you're going to go over get involved, then down here to athlete. And then here you'll see the physical examination form, which you can download, and the parents can give that to their primary care physician. And then the online athlete participation medical application. So this is the form that they need to complete online, and you will get a copy of this as long as you ensure that all of your athletes have the head coach's email address. You will automatically get a copy of this application as well.
And just so you guys are aware, they don't have to use our physical examination form. So sometimes the easiest thing is to tell them to go schedule a sports physical and make sure the doctor signs it and make sure it says the athlete is able to participate in sports. Like if you can just make sure they're getting that piece of paper, and then that online medical application, all they need to do, they can even do it on their phone. They can take a picture of that form, the physical examination form, and they can just upload it through that document. It's really handy and really easy to do. And it really cuts down on the number of incomplete medical applications that we have that we're trying to track down athletes or you, and getting additional information for them to participate. So even if they don't have our form, they can just go get a sports physical and then upload it to that application form.
That's great. Perfect. And anything else that you guys have? Excellent. Always feel free to reach out to us. We are here to support you guys, and we are looking forward to experiencing a great season of competition with y'all. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Again, if you guys have any additional questions or think of anything else, please email your regional managers. Thanks so much. Have a great night.